around YouTube, there's this topic of the one, the Bible that's just right for you. And I do believe that if you have a Bible that's just right for you, you're going to be much more likely to read, much more likely to study, and just a lot more likely to enjoy your time in the Bible when you're looking at something, when you're reading something that just feels secondhand to you, and a Bible that you can have for a long time. That's exactly what we're going to be going over today. Hopefully you like the new setup. We're not necessarily in nature. I had to bring this one inside due to all of the technical things that I'd have to do. Let's get into my favorite Bible. Now, I figured I'd go ahead and show you guys kind of a chronology of all of my Bibles throughout the years since I kind of rededicated my life to the Lord, if that makes sense. I was saved when I was 8 years old, and I kind of went through what every child goes through. It wasn't really my choice sometimes, whether my parents took me to church or not. And then as I grew up into teenage years, I was in and out of church. I'd have seasons where I was really close with God, and then seasons where I would rebel against Him and obviously want to do bad things, as all teenagers do. But then when I was around 21 years old, it was like a light switch one day. I just woke up and I wanted to read the Bible. I've pretty much been in the Bible at least once a day, every day since then. So let's go ahead and look at all of my Bibles leading up to the best Bible I've ever had, and the Bible that I'll probably keep for the rest of my life. So here we have my very first big Bible that I got, or big Bible in the sense that it was the most expensive Bible I had at the time. This is a bonded leather King James Version study Bible from, you can barely make it out there, King James Version study Bible from Thomas Nelson. Now, this was an awesome Bible. Went through a house fire with me and different things like that. But you can see here, I got this Bible on my birthday in 2022. This is the King James Version Study Bible, and obviously I had a little bit of a color code going on here, and some of those things are still accurate to what I do today. But you can see not a lot of room for notes. There are copious amounts of study notes, and I do love this Bible. I still refer to it from time to time, but there's not really a lot of room for notes. And I found myself, as a young Bible student, I found myself referring down here far more than I referred up here. And that was just something that I wanted to make sure didn't really happen in my formative years. I wanted to let the Holy Spirit cook, as it were.
And she let the Holy Spirit cook.
If you guys have seen that clip. But you can see here in Proverbs, there are some sections that I've circled and I've bracketed, and this is a very infantile stage, alpha stage of my note-taking system. And there's not a lot of notes in here because at this point in time, I was reading very sparsely. I kind of went through different areas of the Bible and wasn't really attention. I have a lot here in Matthew as we were going through a Bible study with my family in Matthew. But that's pretty much all I have to say about this Bible. Very great Bible, very good study resource, and I would recommend it, from Thomas Nelson. So I moved straight from that Bible to this Bible. Well, this Bible specifically. This is a brand new copy of this Bible. I have 3 copies of it, which is funny because this is my favorite Bible. But this is a black version, and I kind of took it apart a little bit because I was going to try to rebind it myself and make it into a hardcover. But these are the actual same text block as my main Bible now. It's the exact same Bible on the inside, just a different cover. Here we have the brown leathersoft, which is beautiful, man. I mean, this is the best leathersoft I've ever seen. It looks just like leather. It has this marbly texture. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but it's like light and dark brown, and you can see it's just a beautiful Bible for it to be such an inexpensive version. Now, this version I believe is out of print. I think they're all out of print, but that have a store of these. You can still get this one on Amazon for about $30, $35. This one's going to be more expensive if you can find it. And then the Premier Collection that I have over here is out of print. But let's go ahead and take a look at these Bibles. Let's look at the form factor of these specific Bibles. Let's start with the black one and we can move over. But for now, we have this black one. You can see the Holy Bible. Now, they both have Holy Bible on there. This one obviously is a little lacking over here because it's been used. But it says Holy Bible on the front. And then if you turn to the spine, you see here that you've got a whole bunch of flowery art gilding. I'm not a big fan of all this. I'd prefer it to just say Holy Bible and then this down here. Maybe even the squares being gilded, but I don't like the flowers and stuff like that on this spine. It is a nice leather soft. You can tell much more that this isn't leather than you can with the brown one. And then you see here, if this was the way that it was supposed to be, it would bend right there. And it would be like that. And that's kind of your presentation page that you get at the beginning. Well, let's get this guy out of the way and we'll go on and explore the Bible that I used probably for the longest period of time, which is this brown leathersoft version right here. I have replaced the ribbons. I don't know if you saw with the other one, but it has two black and gold ribbons right there. I'm kind of getting shadows in the way, but anyway, I did replace the ribbons here multiple times. I added 4 ribbons, which one brown. This is actually the original brown that was with it. I have cut it down to size, but this is the original brown that was with it. Then I have 2 golds that I added and a red that I added because this was my primary study resource and my primary Bible that I did everything in. So I had usually multiple different passages that I was reading in. So let's just go through the front of this Bible. You can see, you're going to be able to see signs of wear and tear. I mean, the gilding is shot. And then we have all these tabs here that I've added. You'll see here that I have absolutely used and abused this Bible. I have absolutely been rough. I'm rough on everything that I own. But obviously you can see the paper is eaten away right here, and it's just in pretty rough shape from being used from February 1st of 2023 all the way up until about April 1st of 2024 is when I started using my current Bible. The reason that I love this Bible so much, and I've tried not to show you yet, but we'll go about right here. We'll open it up here to the Song of Solomon, and you get to see here that not only do we have this awesome poetry setting, like it's not paragraph format, it's verse by verse, which is a big thing for me. I love verse by verse, as I do a lot of teaching, I do a lot of preaching, so I love to have the verse by verse so I can find my verses really easily. Then it has the red accents, which I love. That's kind of just a very minor thing, but the biggest thing is these wide margins. And like I said, here in the poetry settings, they get even wider. But let's go to a spot that maybe isn't, maybe like Luke here. A spot that isn't poetry. You can see you definitely have a smaller margin in the middle, which does break out as you use the Bible. It does kind of open up a little bit more than it would be. But let's go ahead and get a measurement on these wide margins. Starting out at about 1.25 inches here, about 1.25 inches on the outer margin. And then if we go here, it's going to be about half an inch, a little over half of an inch on the inner margin there. And the reason for this is, I don't know if you can tell, but the supremely large font. Let's get a Cambridge wide margin in here just to compare. So if we bring in a Cambridge wide margin, you can see that when we open it up, it has a much smaller font, much more legible up here. That is due to the typeface as well as the size. This is an 11-point font, and I believe this is a 8/9-point font here in the NIV Insight Bible, which maybe we'll do a review of that one. So this Bible really just is the best of both worlds. It has a crazy amount of references, a crazy amount of textual footnotes here in the bottom section, which is insanely helpful. And you have the double column section. It literally is the best Bible for me. The only thing that I would change about this Bible, the only thing that I would change, or well, the one thing I would change, and then we'll get to the one thing I would add. I would move the text over. Just move the text over here, just a little bit, maybe 1/4 of an inch. Give you a little bit more in here and a little bit less out here, because really both columns of text are just as important as the other, and you really need to be able to make notes in here. The one thing that I would add is I would take out the concordance, or well, maybe I would even keep the concordance and just add some thickness to this Bible by doing what Cambridge has here in the back, making some lined notebook paper, which would be absolutely amazing in this Bible. As you see here, we flip through, you have a whole bunch of different stuff going on. You got brackets, you got whole verses that are highlighted, you've got whole sections that are highlighted, you've got different colors going on. It's all over the place. There's not necessarily one system so much as it is just however I want to annotate, that's how I annotate at the moment, which I've definitely changed in my new Bible. But the thing about this Bible that's so important, this is the Bible that I started preaching out of. And you can see here, if we go all the way to the back, you can see my very first sermon written on 7/30, or given on 7/30/2023. So here we are about 20 days away, 24 days away with or from my very first time preaching, which is insane to think about. It's been 2 years since I began preaching, which is awesome. But you can see here, I mean, look at this. I mean, that's insane to highlight that whole section, even highlighting things that aren't text. I was kind of all over the place, but the benefit of me being all over the place is now I have a nailed down note system, which we're going to see in my new Bible. But this is a economy version. This is like a leathersoft, very cheap version, or not very cheap, but a cheaper version of the Bible. And you're going to be able to see that right now as we show the Goatskin. This is my primary Bible right now. This is the Bible that I take everywhere with me now. I've kind of retired this guy. He sits on the shelf in case I need to look at any of my old notes on a passage, or even just get some nostalgia by opening it up. This is the workhorse now. And obviously you can tell the difference by the leather cover here. You can see here we have a goatskin leather cover. It is just the Cadillac in every way. Now let me tell you the story as to why or how I got this Bible. I had this in my Amazon cart for the longest time. It retails at like $198, or was when it was in print. But I had this and I used this, and I, had started nailing down my note-taking system, and I loved this Bible, and I wanted to get this version of it. And I watched Tim Wildsmith's video on this Bible, the review that he did for it, and I loved it. And I just had it in my Amazon cart, and I would get on there and I would look from time to time. At this Bible on Amazon, and I loved it, man. There was nothing I wouldn't have done for this Bible. Honestly, I loved it. I was saving up for it. I was waiting to buy it. And all of a sudden, one day I get on Amazon, it's going out of print. There's one copy left. I wish I had taken a screenshot or something. There was one copy left, and it was on sale for $60. You heard that right. $60. I think by the end of it, I paid $68 for this Goatskin Bible, which is insane. And it really goes to show, if you watch the deals, if you watch Amazon, you're going to get a deal if you just wait and bide your time on it, and you will get an awesome deal. But let's look at this Goatskin Bible a little closer. So we see here, I'm going to move this guy off. His time in the limelight is over with. But we go here, and we can see when we open it, and I wish you could feel the difference between the thickness and the floppiness of this goatskin. But you see here, it looks a little bit different. I don't know if you could see that ridge, which is the edge-lined block, which makes it insanely sturdy in comparison to a paste down liner like the leathersoft editions. But you actually have a dedicated presentation page. And I started using this Bible at 4/1/2024. So it's been about a year and a quarter, about 461 days, which is the title of this video. But then you can see here, I've done quite a bit in this Bible. I've done some things I really wish I hadn't done still yet. But this is one of the things that I love. This is how many times I've read through a book. In terms of, I don't even know why I have this. I haven't kept up with this, because after doing this, I found this list. This is from Matthew Everhard, and I'll try to link his channel in the description. As you can see here, there is a box for each chapter of the Bible. And this is the best way. This is my chosen way to keep track of what I've read this year. And so if we look at the spine for this one, we can see these awesome raised spine hubs. Makes it look so premium, makes it look so good. Clean this looks. There's no Holy Bible on the front. It just says Holy Bible, New King James Version, and Thomas Nelson. I absolutely love the sleek aspect of this Bible. And these raised spine hubs really keep it from wearing off right here. But you can see here, you get 3 beautiful ribbons, very nice length ribbons. Two blacks and a brown, or 2 blacks and a red. And then we get to my Bible color code. You can screenshot this if you want to maybe see kind of how I take different notes. And then here is where I really hate what I've done. I had a taped in survey on the Old Testament right here, and it just makes this page stick up in a way that I don't like. And then it makes this page kind of, if you could see there, it just draws back up over time. But we have the Old Testament. You could see there's going to be some passages that have a lot more notes that I've read through, and there's going to be some sparse area. I kind of try my best to not put notes everywhere. Kind of trying to keep this Bible for a few years, maybe at least 3 or 4 years, and I don't want to have just notes to where I can't write anything. That's not to say that I go out of my way to not take a note, but I definitely try to keep them in mind for the future where I have room for other notes. And you can see here, you see a keynote in July 24. I don't have an exact date on it, but it's answered. So this is a question that I had that I came back and was able to answer that question, which is really awesome to be able to do for yourself in these Bibles. And kind of brings me to my next point, which is having a Bible that you use for years and years. Being able to memorize a Bible, being able to know where a passage is. Like if we wanted to go to the Lord's Prayer is going to be right here in this column, all the way to the left in the top left corner. So if we go to the Lord's Prayer, it is still there, the Lord's Prayer. But then we take passages maybe like Psalm 27. If we wanted to go to Psalm 27, Psalm 27 is going to be starting like right here in this on this side, and then over here as you flip the page. See, Psalm 27 doesn't really start, but it goes all the way down through here, and then as you flip the page, it's over here. Being able to know where everything is, being able to know where to flip in the Bible, where to go in the Bible, where everything starts, like that, be able to flip to it at a moment. You can memorize it in your head, especially when you're writing. And if you're not writing in your Bible, I strongly encourage you to do that. This has been my primary Bible. This is my favorite Bible. This is the Bible that I'll probably be in for the next years to come, at least probably 2 or 3 more years out of this Bible. So let me know what your favorite Bible is down in the comment section below. Do you have the one Bible, the Bible that you're going to have probably for the rest of your life? I'm going to get this Bible rebound. I'm probably going to send off that black one to get rebound. And whenever I move on from this Bible, it will be moving right back into this Bible.